Hello, Markee Dragon, also known as Marcus Eichenberry in real life, and welcome to another episode of the EVE Online 30-Day Challenge. So, today, I'm not 100% sure what kind of mayhem we're going to find, but let me bring the guys on here from TeamSpeak. And so we were just talking about smart bombing Jita. Now, wouldn't that though be a lot of fun to smart bomb Jita? I mean, think of how many ships are always there right out in front of the station. Or can you not smart bomb right in front of a station? Does it have to be a gate?
You can't do it anymore. If the smart bomb would deal damage within the range of the station, if it would hit the station, it will not allow you to activate it anymore. So you have to find somewhere with like a busy gate where people are locked out, and we're just waiting there in space. Right.
Yeah, I do remember getting locked out one time. I had to wait. I just had to keep trying to get through the gate. And there was probably about 30 ships sitting there right at the gate. All trying to get through.
People do take a opportunity of targets like that.
I would. I mean...
Yeah.
Why not?
But then you have to kiss your security status goodbye and stay in low sec.
Oh.
It'll definitely drop your sec status a bit, but not if you do it once. It's not gonna be too detrimental.
Depends if it gets any pods.
Interesting.
Yeah, Mark, you're not gonna get any pods in that time though.
Well, unless there happens to be one already there.
Yeah, if it gets 2 or 3 pods, the security status goes way down.
Interesting.
Well, 1 pod in high sec is a huge hit.
Yes.
Oh, really? So yeah, what happens? What happens when you're like in high sec and so somebody kills my ship and then they kill my pod? They actually get a lower standing in high sec because of that?
If they are not at war with you, their security status will go down.
Okay. But if they're at war, it's okay.
So, I don't think it's okay to pod, even though you're war tech.
No, it's completely fine to pod kill a war target.
Interesting.
It's the any criminal action, such as killing someone who's not your war target, will definitely give you a hit to your security status. And pods are really, really big hit if you kill them in high sec.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm not going to be doing much of that, but I wouldn't be doing that anyway. The only time I'd be really battling somebody is if they're coming after me. And the likelihood of me actually killing somebody is pretty low, I think. So, because I'm just not that good. So.
And you probably don't have the skills for it right now. People generally do that with battleships. They can fit a whole lot more smart bombs that deal bigger damage.
Oh, now see, I do... Well, no, I don't have battleship, I have destroyer. So, yeah, in fact, I've almost got destroyers level 5. I only have 1 day, 22 hours left on that. Got to get that...
that should make for a nasty little combat ship.
Yeah, so I have a pretty good destroyer. Right now, it's okay. I think, though, that I have a lot of core skills that are still needed for it, though.
Which destroyer are you flying?
The one that looks like a fish. I don't know what it's called.
The Thrasher?
The Minimator one.
The Thrasher.
Oh, yeah. That's notorious for having really high damage output with good skills.
Well, I probably, though... I've got all my core skills done with my certifications and everything. I haven't done any of my standards yet. I mean, I have some of them, but I haven't finished that. And I was thinking probably, since I fly a lot of Rifters, that maybe I wanted to finish up my Rifter stuff really before I started moving into destroyers.
Well, if you go for these small projectile turrets and gunnery support skills, those will snowball later if you wanted to get Tech 2 guns.
Plus, most of the modules you use on the Rifter go for the destroyer as well, because
Oh, okay.
they both
They
use
share a
small
lot
guns
of,
and small
items.
Yeah.
shield things and.
So they share a lot of stuff. Okay. Well, then it makes sense that I work on getting better at Rifters anyway. Before that, I'm just doing the destroyer thing so I get it done before the patch, and so that I have it. So that's my thoughts on that.
I would also advise getting up the racial frigates for the other classes or the other races to level, I believe it's 4. That way you get the destroyers 5 for all the races.
Well, no, wait a second. So, okay, so I was getting destroyers 5 for all the races because that's what I was told what I needed to do. Now you're telling me that I have to get all the racial frigates up to 4 in order for my destroyers 5 to mean anything?
Yeah. Basically, it's if you can fly it now, you can fly it after the patch. But the way it's going to be applied is you have to get your racial frigates to 4 so that you'd be able to fly those destroyers after the patch and get the benefit from having it maxed out to 5. And that'll only take you about a day for each one.
Oh, the frigates to get them up to 4?
Yeah, per race. I think it's only 4, and you should have Caldari frigates level, I think, 2 or 3 right now.
Yeah, let me look.
Since you were flying the Kestrel the other day.
I have Caldari frigate level 4 right now.
Okay, there's one less you have to worry about then.
I have Galante frigate level 3. And that one right there is 1 day, 15 hours to get to 4. Minotaur frigate, I'm on level 4. So it looks like I need to do the Galante frigate.
The Amar one, you don't have that.
Yeah, the Galante and the Umar would be the next ones you would to train for to get the benefit from it. You're still going to be getting the benefit from it from having 2 of the races trained up now. It's just you'll get the maximum benefit out of having all of those trained up.
Okay, so I should probably go get an Amar skill book, huh?
Where are you docked up at the moment?
I don't know. Ren's.
Oh yeah, if you're in a trade hub, they should have one there.
Yeah, let's see here. Market.
The price may be inflated by 10 to 20%.
Skills.
But the cost for the racial frigate skill books is so minuscule.
So, Amar frigate. And looks like 44,000.
The
Yeah,
chat,
which is nothing.
It's
the
actually
chat
below.
is saying you only need to train them up to 3 for the Destroyer 5 change.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, good. So then I just need to train this one up to 3 and I'm golden.
Yes.
Are you sure it's 3?
Someone-
is it cruisers or,
There are ton of people putting it in the chat, so.
Yeah.
I'm probably thinking of cruisers.
Okay, so, hey, well, I bought that book, and I'll inject that right now, just get it out of the way.
Probably only takes a few hours.
Yeah, it shouldn't take too long. And then, Amar frigate. Let's see, is that going to bump my... Yeah, it's going to bump destroyers out, so... Okay, well, there we go. so rearranged things just a little bit. And,
gotta love how kind people are in the stream.
Well, you know what? You guys in the stream are an incredible resource, actually. Because there's so many people in there that people almost always know the answer, and so it's a great resource. It's better than asking Google. I don't know if I could ask Google, what are the new skill requirements for destroyers in EVE Online? I don't think it would know that one. It's funny. I use Google so much with talking to my phone, asking it things, that I was in the grocery store yesterday, and I was just trying to find soy sauce, and I'm in there with all the barbecue sauces and ketchup and all that stuff, and I can't find soy sauce anywhere. And I wanted so bad to pull out my phone and say, Google, what aisle is soy sauce on? But, of course, it wouldn't know, But I was thinking, wow, that'd be a really great feature if Google could start knowing what items were on what shelves in stores and could use Google GPS to tell you you need to move 30 feet over to aisle 4. Something like that.
Markee.
Yes?
Dark Raven X in lobby needs a drag into the channel.
Okay.
If you actually type in your question, like I have already done for you in Twitch chat, you will actually get your answer.
Oh. Well, you Mr. Let's see, Grant Talk Power. You seem to have web pages for everything.
Well, I just typed in your question and Google gave the answer.
Oh, there it is, right there. Holy cow. Well, I suppose I could have talked to Google then and asked. So I want Google to ignore the word Google. And you want to know why? So that when I talk to my phone and I say blah, 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 I want to start it by saying Google, so it automatically knows to search. So I just have a talk button, and then it'll automatically know I want to search, and then it will search it for me instead of saying call so and so or play next song.
So using Google as a verbal command.
Yeah. I think that'd be cool.
So you want to have it like in Star Trek? You want to say
Absolutely.
Google,
Absolutely.
Get on.
So yes, see here's my mouse. Computer. You're supposed to use the mouse. Oh, okay. Computer, please respond. Star Trek 4. That was an awesome movie. That's my favorite one. So, well, actually, the new Enterprise, the previous movie to the one that just came out, that one is, I saw that, I think, 8 or 9 times in the theater. So, I just kept going back.
Yeah, the new one is pretty good.
Yeah, it is. It is. I saw a TV Guide today has a thing up saying, should we bring back Star Trek television series?
Hell yes.
Yeah. So, I think so. Okay, so now okay, so I have my skills here. They're good and stuff. I want to look at my ship here, and I want to ask a couple of questions. We'll look at my ship fitting. Okay, now these guns that I have right here are artillery cannons, and then I know that there's different types of ammunition for this gun. Is that correct?
Yes.
And these different ammunitions equal different things, and there's reasons why you would want to use different ammunitions.
Yes.
But I don't understand, what's good against what, and why I would want to change, and why I would want to specialize, why I would want to even need to think about knowing what it was I was going to go fight before I even fight it.
Well, generally you kind of get a sense of what you're going to be going up against. Like if you're doing faction warfare, you generally know what your enemy's going to be flying. If you're running into a bunch of people flying shields tank ships, you want to lean towards EM damage. If you're going to fight a bunch of armor tank people, you want to lean towards explosive. And there's different ammo for short range, there's different ammo for long range. It gets a little bit more specialized when you get into the Tech 2 variants as well.
And the explosive you said is good against armor?
Yeah, if you take a look at under your defense window on your fitting.
Defense window. Where do I find? Let's see.
In your fitting.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Section.
I see it.
Sorry, section, not window. You see a big gap in your resistances under explosive. You only have a 10% resistance to explosive damage. If you get hit by a lot of explosive damage, your ship's going to go down fairly quick. Now, if you were being hit by EM damage, you're going to last significantly longer as compared to if you were being hit with that explosive damage instead.
Interesting.
So it might be a good idea on your ship, if you wanted to survive a bunch of different types of damage, to get fairly even resistances, like throw on a armor rig that increases your armor resistance.
I can barely control what I got.
Yeah. And there's other kinds of ammo that track faster, smaller targets better. Some stuff that's for optimal range, and there's also some ammo that reduces capacitor need for stuff like lasers and hybrid turrets.
Okay. So I'm starting to see this a little bit. Basically, 4 different defense types, and then the different ammunition and stuff has 4 different types of damage it can do.
Yeah, with some of the different ammunitions, it'll do a primary and a secondary type of damage.
Okay.
Whereas things like missiles just deal one type of damage.
And what type of damage do they deal?
I believe the ammo you have in does EM and explosive. I'll have to look. I'm not in.
But no, you said a missile though. A missile only does what type of damage?
Like the Scourge missile will only do kinetic damage. Nova missiles only do explosive. Mjolnir missiles only do EM, and Inferno missiles only do thermal damage.
Okay.
So that's why a lot of people like Caldari ships, because you can specialize into damage types. And like Sake said, or Cycle in the Twitch chat said, missiles and drones do one single type of damage, whereas other ammo types split damage between 2 types.
And so, let's see. There's the projectile, there's the missile, and then there's laser.
Laser and hybrids. There's hybrid turrets, which are blasters and railguns.
And what do they shoot? Bullets?
Bullets, kind of. It's kind of like bullets.
It's railguns. So the hybrids are railguns.
It's just apples and oranges. There's Type 1 guns and Type 2 guns. Basically, they're the same thing as projectiles, but different names, different ammo.
So when going out on missions, let's say, then I probably could look up, that mission and see what kind of damage that, what kind of ammo to run with.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And a really good resource is to bookmark EVE survival guides in your browser, so that you can look up which damage to deal and which damage to tank for when you go out on missions.
EVE survival guides?
Yeah, and you can open up the browser in EVE and bookmark that in your in-game browser.
So,
survival.org.
Okay.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
Which we already mentioned weeks past.
sure someone has a link for it.
Okay, so there is Eve Survival. Now, how do I make a bookmark? Let's see here. Just hit this
You
little...
go up to bookmarks, and there will be an option to add or edit.
Okay. Let's see here. And then close. Okay. And then bookmarks.
It'll be, when you go to what you just opened on the right side, there's the button to add.
Yeah, that's what... I thought I did just add this one.
You hit remove.
Oh,
it's a funny
actually, I
thing.
hit close. But, okay, add. I see. That's,
yeah, they really need to move that add button.
That's ugly looking. Okay, well, I got it. So, okay, got that bookmark in there. And, so, okay. Well, I'll think about looking up maybe the next one that I do. And
yeah, but we can do like an hour-long class just on ammo.
Well, I want to talk a little bit more on ammo, so I can know ahead of time what kind of ammo I'm going to use on a mission by using those resources and looking things up. If I'm going out on like a PvP roam or something like that, I don't know what I'm going to find, who I'm going to find, and so how do you prepare for like that? For something
You
like
usually
that?
go for either, depending on what your ship is fit for. If you're fit to be really fast and agile, you'll probably want tracking speed so that your guns can track the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Or it depends on if you want to go for long range or short range. Damage type really isn't specified there, as you don't know what you're going to fight, but you often want to fit for range or tracking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you definitely do want to bring multiple types of ammo.
Oh, okay. So, like for these guns right here, let me look up in the market. The why is it I can never frickin' find what I'm? It's like I go over the darn things every time. Okay, so ammunition and charges, and then let's see, what kind of guns do I have here? I've got the 250 millimeter light artillery cannon. How do I know what kinds are compatible with this?
It'll be under projectile ammo, and it'll be under small.
Projectile ammo.
Small projectile ammo will work.
And then under standard?
Type 1 in faction.
Standard
Yes.
and then
Yeah,
small.
standard.
Okay.
Or faction, depends on how much you want to spend.
Okay. And so, do all of these work in this gun?
Yeah, all those
really?
different types of ammunition will work for those guns. They will work for both autocannons and artillery cannons.
But they vary in range and damage types.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not all of those will be optimal for those types of guns, but they will go in there and they will fire.
Interesting. The prices are pretty, in
Varied.
par with. Well, that's not too much. I mean, some as low as 8 ISK and some as much as like 32 ISK.
Generally, though, for me, whenever I go PvPing, I bring only one type of ammo because I usually make sure that my ship only needs that ammo. Because oftentimes, if you're in a fight and suddenly the ranges change, you feel compelled to change ammo types, and unless it's lasers, which can switch ammo instantly, there is a brief time where you're reloading, and that's time where the enemy is shooting at you. So generally, for me, for projectiles, I bring phased plasma. For hybrid turrets, I bring antimatter. For lasers, usually you can stick with multi-frequency. That's a pretty good one. And then for missiles, do Scourge. Because mostly a ship that uses missiles, which is primarily Caldari, have a bonus to Scourge missile damage.
And lasers.
I'm gonna disagree with you on missiles.
Okay, let's hear it.
Bring Inferno over Scourge if there's no damage bonus, because a lot of the Caldari ships do not have a bonus to only kinetic. They actually started phasing out kinetic only bonuses.
So let me ask a follow-up question on that. Lasers do not require ammunition. Is that correct?
Lasers do require ammunition. They're called, if you look at the market, go to frequency crystals under ammunition and charges. You can go to standard crystals. Those are the crystals that will be used as ammo. They do not run out. You get one, it'll last forever. Mm-hmm. There's faction crystals and advanced crystals, which are Tech 2 crystals, do break after a certain amount of time.
Okay.
But they take so long.
They take damage and they eventually burn out.
The lasers only do EM and thermal damage. The lenses only control the range, and it's with that as with all other these weapons. The closer you get, the more damage you do.
Right. So just like a normal laser is stronger, closer to the source. Yeah.
It's the same with the hybrids. Hybrids and the projectile. The closer range ammo you use, the more base DPS it does on.
Imagine it kind of like a bell curve. There's a certain range between your optimal and your fall off, where you do a certain amount of damage and it teeters off as you get further and further away. Mm-hmm. But also take into account for tracking as well.
So I think that in missions it's pretty clear. You want to take something that'll work well against the rats, but in PvP situations, it sounds a little bit more like you want to take something that works really well with your fit, so that whatever you're taking works as optimally as possible.
Yeah, because a lot of the times you don't know who's going to be shooting at you and who you're going to be shooting at.
Mm-hmm.
But you can know to a certain point if you are a tackler with Gram and a web, you're most likely going to stay within 9 kilometers of your target. So then you fit close range ammunition, and also if you can fit tracking computers and put it from range. If you're planning on going sniping, then you fit and put long range ammo. Take a little bit of closer range ammo if you get it into close quarters, and also a lot of FCs tell you to have both long and short range ammo, because they want to dominate the ranges of the fight. Then they tell you if they want you to have long range or short range ammo.
Mm-hmm. Now, something the chat room is being emphatic about is that that if you don't have faction ammo in your for PvP, you're doing it wrong. That's Evilist saying that, right? Evilist, you're here.
Not doing it wrong. You're just not doing it as well as you could be.
Yeah, and I usually use faction or Tech 2 in PvP because it's usually not a huge amount of rounds you use in the PvP, and it's the same thing. I'm always handling on this little edge, always trying to get a little more.
Mm-hmm. So
I'm cheap, so I use Tech 1 ammo. Win a fair amount of my fights.
Yeah. So I notice here with the faction stuff. Now the faction obviously costs more, but I'm just like looking at this one example I have here on the screen. This one gives 60% increased optimal range and a 5% bonus in tracking speed.
Compared to...
I don't know, compared to regular carbonized lead, small.
Then you need to check the info and check the both tab and compare them to see if they're worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But these Archangel rounds are, on my opinion, a little bit too expensive. You can go for the Republic ammo. That's cheaper and.
If you're going to be PvPing, Republic Fleet for projectile ammo is often the better choice over the more expensive faction ammos.
Interesting.
Like, Domination or Angel.
So,
a lot of time that little bit of damage in large groups makes a huge difference in the outcome of a battle.
Well, yeah, look at that.
If you're singular PvP, it's not as important, but I've found that if you're in a big group and you're roaming, that little bit of damage, if everybody's using faction ammo, that could be the difference between you guys losing and the other side losing.
Well, 5 to 10% more damage is 5 to 10% more likely chance to survive.
Exactly.
Well, now wait a second. So
anybody can use faction ammo. That's the other bonus.
I'm a little confused here because you're like saying that I should go look at the Republic Fleet carbonized lead as opposed to the Archangel carbonized lead, and it appears to be way more expensive for the Republic Fleet.
Yes, but that also indicates
better.
Yeah.
It's not better. It says right here the 60% increased optimal range, 5%.
You have to look at the specific. You have to go into the specific item and look at the attributes. You're going to see a difference in the attributes.
Yeah, Markee,
what you see on the
what you're
description
looking at
is
right
just
now
based.
is the base bonuses from that ammunition type. However, what you do not see at the moment on that screen is the base damage amount for that specific faction ammo.
Okay.
If you look at the raw damage from the Republic Fleet compared to the Angel, you will definitely see a difference.
What did I just do? Yeah.
You pinned it, I think.
Yeah, I did something. I'm not sure.
It's the circle to the left of the X.
Yeah.
That you use that one to pin.
Well, I was trying to look at both at the same time. That's what I was trying to do.
Click on the Variations tab.
There's a tab called Variations. Okay, there we go. But how does that let me look at both of them at the same time?
Well, if you want to have both windows side by side, you have to check the option in the settings to either open a new window or shift-click on the information button.
Compare, you can do it through compare.
Just compare there on the bottom. Above market detail. If you check info, compare above market detail.
Okay, so I ignored that last compare and market detail because I was still trying to get this other way working. So is this... I'm trying to see here why...
Just look at the damage.
You're dealing little bit more damage with the Republic Fleet.
It's just so little more, and the Archangel one is 33 per round, and Republic is 500 per round.
I think this. Did you check the? Are all the Archangel carbonized lead at this low prices, or is it just the lowest you could find, which is someone clearing out or writing a wrong?
I've got for region.
You have to go in and view market details. That initial screen, when it tells you the price per round, might not always be the most accurate.
Plus, check the system to see if that's in a low-sec system.
Also, you're not in JITA, so you will definitely get a good amount of price fluctuation on less common items.
Yeah.
Such as Angel faction
Here's an
ammo.
example, Markee. Right now I'm running incursions, so I can switch back between ammo. I'm running a Nightmare. I use crystals as faction, as my ammunition. If I use normal multi-frequency crystals, I get around 640 DPS. if I switch to faction ammo, I'm getting 790. That's 100 plus difference in damage per second.
That's roughly 15% increase on damage.
I know. I'm just looking at this. It doesn't. These numbers, when I look at them, do not make sense to me on why I should buy Republic, because it's 15 times more expensive, something like that, and it's and the damage that I'm seeing here is less than 10% increase.
In this case, you could buy the Archangel, but you saw if you check the Archangel ammo, you saw that a lot of the Archangel ammo is at 2,000 is per round, of the better ones.
It's not. 55 is the most expensive.
No.
The perfect example of why you're using this ammo, D-Monster just said in Twitch chat, is because you're playing to win. You're using this ammo to fight other players, to kill them before they kill you.
Right,
and if
but you always gotta weigh in your funds available. It's just like you don't go flying around with the +5 crystals in your head because the +4s cost only 10% of the +5 or whatever, and give you 80% of the increase or whatever. And this is so far out of spec that.
Yeah.
Well, think of it like this: are you going? You pay, let's say, 500,000 ISK for ammunition, and that little bit of damage output might save you 5 million ISK worth of your ship not dying. And you kill your enemy, and you get their loot.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that. But see, it can go exponentially higher as well. It's just that the economics of this just don't make any sense to me. And I wonder what the normal
people
ammunition
know
is.
It's better, so they're going to be charging more for the better amp. They're going to be charging people more for this better product that they have, because they know people will pay for it.
The Republican fleet is 100 times more than per bullet than standard.
For less than 100 times more effectiveness, but you're also having to factor in the fact that you're using this ammo for less than standard purposes.
So with the artillery cannons, you will, in a normal PvP room, you won't even shoot that many rounds. That it really matters. Like I say, when in PvP, I always go for the more expensive ammo and a little bit better stuff, up to a certain point.
And I don't disagree that, especially when you're going against another player, that winning is everything, and that, it's not typically about making money whenever you're fighting another player. You're not going to, I guess, recoup your costs all the time.
Yeah, PvP is often a way of spending money for people, and not so much making it, but more so of spending it.
Yeah, it's like now I work for or I rat and do things to earn money to be able to PvP, and since that is my biggest goal of my money making, so I try to do it with as well as I can by getting myself the better ammo, Tech 2 guns. If I find cheap faction modules, I might slam them on, depending on what I'm doing. So
think of it like this: running incursions or ratting is like your day job, and then you PvP as a way to as a hobby or to have fun. It's like, do you get what I'm saying there? Kind of.
No, I understand the differences and why you'd use it in different places. I guess that in a consumable, I have a hard time with it being so much more expensive. If we were talking like cars, we were talking like, okay, I'm going to buy a Mazda for, whatever here, 4 ISK, and I'm going to buy a Mercedes for the 30 ISK, which is the Archangel, or I'm going to buy a Ferrari for 500. I kind of get the economics of that, and it's an investment and everything. But on a consumable, it's like, okay, so, we can equate it to gasoline in those cars, and that one is 10% more efficient than the other, but it costs 500 times more. And unless I'm in competition where I need that extra 10% boost, I would never use it.
And
here's the
indeed,
thing,
you are
though.
in a competition for your own destruction. But it like you said, it comes down to income. You don't fly nothing, or with nothing you cannot afford to lose.
Right.
So if you don't have the income, you fly with that one. If you have some income and see that you can afford to use them and lose them, then of course you do. Because why would you buy a cheap Mazda if you had the funds to easily drive the Ferrari? Then why would you drive around in the Mazda?
Right. Only if you're just being absolutely frugal, which is what I feel like in this game sometimes, because I have all these billions of ISK, and I'm worried about spending 4 ISK per round, or 30 ISK per round, or 500 ISK per round.
I mean that's
Well, you
because
also have to take
don't
into account
you
people
haven't.
are very protective of their kill board, which is every kill and every loss on their character. They want to have a good reflection on their kill board that says good things about them, that says they can win fights and that they don't die. So people will pay excessive amounts of ISK to reflect well on their what is effectively your resume for PvP.
That's exactly why you buy a Ferrari too, is because you want everybody to notice you. You want that impression. You can't go any faster in a Ferrari than you can in a Mercedes on any public highways.
Sure, you can.
Well,
you just might get a ticket.
I can tell you that a friend of mine got a ticket for doing I think it was 147 miles per hour the day he bought his Ferrari.
Oh,
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, oh yeah, totally. He loves that story too. He actually stopped and waited for the cops after he saw all of them lining up at the exits for him to come by. He stopped, and they took him to jail. And
They usually do.
Yeah.
It depends a lot on the circumstances. In Ohio, we used to have a safe and prudent for the condition of the vehicle, and safe and prudent for the conditions of the traffic, which you could get out of a speeding ticket with. So if you were driving a Ferrari at 140 and there was no other traffic on the road, your vehicle could do that comfortably without, being a danger. However, that changed in the past 5 years or so. So
Yeah. We used to, when I lived in Oregon, anything over 100 miles per hour was automatic jail time. And
isn't there a couple states out west where it's unlimited speed?
Montana.
Oh yeah, Montana. I love
Montana has several spots, but you got to watch out for cattle. So,
oh jeez. But at that
know.
speed, it'll go right over your car.
Yeah. And the chat room saying Montana is 75 now. So
It's the same with a lot
in
of,
Germany, you can go to the Autobahn, which are parts of.
didn't they just put restrictions on the Autobahn too?
I'm not sure.
I mean, when I was out in Germany last and going down the Autobahn, we were going down in a Toyota Land Cruiser, and we're doing 100 miles an hour in this Toyota Land Cruiser, and I'm just thinking, crap, this is way too fast for this kind of vehicle. But I wasn't the one driving, so and they lived there, not me.
If I may,
yeah.
I just wanted to talk about what you were referring to with the price costs and stuff. And for instance, I'm doing incursions right now, and I'm actually on TeamSpeak, so that's why I'm being quiet. But essentially, I'm making about 100 million ISK an hour. So when you say that, the price doesn't reflect the bonuses, probably not. But it's all about paying for convenience.
Absolutely. So at 100 million ISK an hour too is really, so you spend, I don't know how much do you spend in ammo an hour when you're making 100 million an hour? You spending 100,000, 200,000 on ammo, and
well, yeah, pretty much. Actually, I spent about 14 million on these faction crystals,
mm-hmm.
and I bought 12 of them. I used 4 at a time. My first set hasn't even burnt out yet, and I've been running for like 3 days. So
right, and so if you're making 100 million an hour, it's totally worth it. Even
ammo is also horrifically favored towards Amar. Like, it's not even funny.
What does that have to do with it? I don't understand.
That's just that Amarian crystals don't burn out very fast, so it's kind of like
overpowered.
It's ludicrously more efficient for Amar in ammo. Caldari gets the shaft bad.
Use those
You're
missiles.
burning through missiles.
God, I use Caldari Navy torpedoes for my incursion running just because I don't have Tech 2 torps yet. And I'll burn through 50 million ISK in ammo a day.
Wow.
But I also make 1 billion ISK a day. That puts it in perspective for you.
Right. Okay. So.
Plus, what started this whole argument, you got to remember, I said for PvP faction ammo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, you also have to, like, for incursions, the more damage you do, the more money you make per hour.
Yeah. Well, you're also in direct competition with other groups there.
Exactly.
Your few points of damage may get you the site or may not, And
again, that's just weighing the risk of spending that ISK on that ammo as compared to just buying Tech 1.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Although, personally, Markee, I would agree with you that it would be the slight difference in faction ammo is not worth the cost, in my opinion. That's just because this is like the first time in a long time I've been making a ton of money, so I'm pretty frugal with what I'm spending on. And in all likelihood, I'm going to die in PvP anyway, so why would I spend it on the ultimate faction ammo that only gives me a slight bonus?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, part of my frugalness, I'm sure, comes from the fact that that I'm not earning an income yet. That I'm still living off these donations that I've been given, and that I do not expect. I look at those as gifts and not an actual income, and I don't expect that to last forever. So I gotta be frugal with it, and I gotta make sure that I can turn that money into money. So, which is what I like to try and do in business in real life.
Well, you haven't had a real good chance since you've been at war for a pretty consistent amount of time.
This is true. That has war costs money.
And you'd be totally screwed if you were an absolutely new player with no money given to you by your corp or any other players. It'd be really unfair.
That's I think Rolas has given a lot of money out to a lot of the corp members, helping them out for that very reason. Yeah, he's been very generous. And these are all things that I have to think about next time if I join a corp, if I leave this corp and then go to join another one later, I seriously have to think about what the impacts of me joining that corp are and whether or not it's good for the corp. And in most cases, it's not going to be unless they are a corp that loves war.
So you're going to join the Marmites or horses?
I don't know. We'll find out. But
join the Unthinkables. They got some good fights going down south.
The problem is that I don't know how to fight, and so then I become the black sheep or the jester of the corp.
The wars you've been in haven't been real wars. They've been experienced people picking on what they view as vulnerable targets.
Yeah, they're bullies.
Yeah, well, that's what I want to be. If I'm gonna be killing people, I'm gonna be killing them as a bully. Overwhelming numbers. Forget competition. Let's just overwhelm them.
Then you need a nullsec war.
Yeah, they are real sovereignty faction wars over real thing, over resources, solar system stations. So they're actually they're not just stomping on noobs. You actually are fighting for something, and you're trying to hold. You go to CTAs or these fights to hold the areas that you use to make your money to be able to play. So these are actually wars for something. So
Right.
you're trying your best, and you try to get into, you fly expensive ship, and you lose your ship, and then you buy another one, or the alliance dream button,
Actually,
because you actually have something to lose in lots of those.
the other thing you got to think about is if you're with a major nullsec corp, most of them have ship replacement programs.
Oh, really?
So what they'll do is they'll compensate you for your hull, and if you have insurance, that compensates you for your. That usually gives you enough ISK to replace your modules and stuff. So, I mean, it varies a lot from corp to corp on how that works exactly. I know some.
I'm sure for me they would get tired of paying out.
Oh, it's with the big ones, they won't even notice you.
Oh.
We're not talking about 10, 15 ISK. We're talking about billions and billions and trillions of ISKs in the balance. So you're
There's
just
corporations and
tiny
that pull in trillions a month.
Wow.
Yeah. It's all moon mining. Remember how I was discussing the moon mining materials? That's where that comes from.
Wow. Wow.
Your loss of $1 billion ISK a month won't even make a dent. And that's on the high side. Realistically, you shouldn't be losing $1 billion ISK a month.
Yeah.
On top of that, they'll want you there because as soon as the enemy group sees your bounty, they're going to be all over you like white on rice.
Oh yeah,
so
that gives everybody else a chance to get some hits in before they die.
Yes. Well, that may be the. Well, here's the thing: in a nullsec battle, there are no rules except the person who has the better FC and the better ships and the better ammo wins. Now,
if you're alive, you win pretty much.
Yeah, that's the rule. If you're still standing at the end of the fight, you win. I mean,
it doesn't matter if you have to pull in titans from across the universe. If you are alive at the end of that fight, you win.
Interesting.
And there's some pretty crazy stuff you can do in nullsec, like jump bridging in fleets of 100 people from a few systems away on top of a fight that's already going on. Like, the numbers can shift so dramatically in seconds in nullsec.
So if you want to make the game infinitely more complicated, then you start to think about 0-0 alliance stuff. Yeah. Then you can make the game so complicated that you will be completely overwhelmed by it.
Yeah.
That's why you don't think about it. You just go where you're told and use the resources you're told. And if you go boom, they replace your ship, and you start getting told to go somewhere else.
Yeah, as I say, do what the FC says, and no smacking in local.
Yep.
Unless the FC says smack in local.
Yeah. That's usually forbidden.
What is smacking?
Smack talk, trash talk.
Oh, okay.
Writing some bad things in the local chat.
I'll just say that.
Provoking the enemy.
Just make sure it's only about Russians.
Oh. Okay. Well, it
was
starts
that my
already.
voice there? I'm sorry.
Well, there's also a lot of inappropriate stuff that I can't mention on the air that is linked in local.
Yeah.
Okay. Stuff that's not work safe.
Definitely not.
Even remotely.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, so I think that's going to end this episode here. And thank you guys for all the info on ammunition and where that led to. When we come back, we'll do a drawing, and we'll be back in just a moment.